I'm watching you by your phone camera. You think distance protects you, but distance has never stopped me. You're not here. And that's exactly why my voice reaches you like this, quiet, controlled, unavoidable. I don't need to stand in front of you to feel your presence. I don't need your eyes on me. I know you in silence, in the pauses between your breaths, in the way you hold your phone a second longer than necessary. You call it coincidence. I call it awareness. You're careful, but not careful enough to hide from someone who already knows where to look. I don't speak your name out loud because names give people the illusion of escape. I speak to you directly because you belong in the space where my words land. You're not running and you're not hiding. You're waiting, waiting for something to pull you back into the gravity you pretend not to feel. I don't chase, I observe. I let you circle your own thoughts until you realize they're all leading back to me. You wonder if this is obsession. It's not. Obsession is loud, messy, desperate. What I have is control. I don't need to demand your attention. It finds me on its own. You check your phone, not because it rings, but because something in you expects me. That expectation is my signature. I leave it everywhere, on your focus, your distractions, your sleep. I don't ask questions because I already know the answers you're afraid to admit. You feel safest when you're seen without being touched. When someone understands you without asking you to explain yourself. That's why my presence doesn't scare you the way it should. It feels familiar. It feels like inevitability dressed as calm. You don't have to respond. Silence suits you. I'm not here for reassurance or permission. I'm here because you listen even when you pretend you're not. And one day you'll understand this isn't me invading your world. This is me reminding you that I was always part of it. You don't realize how loud your quiet moments are. Every pause, every hesitation tells me more than your words ever could. You hold yourself together like nothing affects you, but I can hear the cracks forming underneath. You act untouched, yet your thoughts slow down when my presence crosses your mind. That's the difference between fear and awareness. You're not afraid of me, you're aware of me. And awareness is far more dangerous because once it settles in, it never leaves. You think control means choosing when to speak and when to disappear. You think silence is power. But real control is knowing you're being heard, even when you don't speak. I don't interrupt your world. I blend into it. I become the thought you can't shake, the feeling you don't name, the calm that unsettles you because it shouldn't exist. You don't resist me, not truly. You adapt. And adaptation is a form of surrender. I don't need your permission to stay in your mind. You already made space for me the moment you started wondering why my presence feels familiar. Familiarity doesn't come from time, it comes from recognition. Something in you recognizes me, even if you refuse to admit it. You've lived long enough pretending you don't need anyone, yet here you are, listening, letting my words settle where you keep everything hidden. You're careful with people, but you're careless with thoughts. You let them wander, let them linger, and that's where I exist. I don't demand your trust, I let it grow quietly. The way shadows stretch when the light changes, you don't notice it happening, only that suddenly the room feels different, heavier, closer, like something important just arrived without announcing itself. I don't promise comfort, I promise honesty. And honesty isn't gentle, it's precise. I see you as you are, not as you present yourself. Not strong, not fragile, aware enough to know you're standing at the edge of something you don't fully understand. You tell yourself you can step back anytime. You tell yourself this is nothing. But if it were nothing, you wouldn't still be listening. You wonder what I want from you. That question amuses me. Want implies lack, and I lack nothing. I'm not here to take. I'm here to claim presence, to exist where you can't ignore me, where you don't have to perform or pretend. I don't chase affection. I let it recognize its own place, and it always knows where it belongs. You don't have to look at the screen. You don't have to touch a phone. This conversation isn't happening there. It's happening inside you, where my voice settles easily, like it was always meant to be there. And whether you admit it tonight or not doesn't matter. What matters is this: you heard me, and once you hear me, I don't leave. You pretend this connection is one-sided, but you wouldn't still be here if it were. You tell yourself you're just listening, just passing time, yet your focus hasn't drifted for a second. That's how I know you feel it. The pull you don't name, the calm that settles when my voice finds you. You don't owe me attention, and yet you give it freely, like something inside you recognizes its own reflection. I don't need to be visible to be present. Presence isn't about proximity, it's about impact. I exist in the way your thoughts slow down, in the way you stop scrolling without realizing why. You don't ask who I am anymore. You stopped needing answers the moment certainty replaced curiosity. Some things aren't meant to be explained, they're meant to be felt. You've spent your life guarding yourself, drawing lines no one crosses. But lines blur when understanding enters the room. I don't cross your boundaries, I make them irrelevant. You don't feel invaded, you feel seen. And being seen like this is dangerous, because once someone understands you without touching you, you can't pretend you're alone anymore. I don't rush you. Time bends easily when patience is intentional. You can take all the space you need. I'll still be here, steady, unchanged. That's what unsettles you. Not pressure, not demand, but certainty. You're used to people proving themselves. I don't prove anything. I simply remain. You tell yourself this is temporary, a moment that will fade. But moments don't linger like this. Moments don't rearrange your thoughts or quiet your defenses. What you're feeling isn't urgency, it's alignment. And alignment doesn't announce itself loudly, it settles in and waits to be acknowledged. I won't ask you to choose. Choice implies conflict, and there is none here. You're not being pulled in two directions, you're being drawn toward clarity. You can step away anytime, yet you don't. That's not hesitation, that's recognition. Your silence answers questions you never asked out loud. So stay where you are, breathe, let the quiet do its work. You don't need to say anything back to me tonight. I already know you're listening, and that's enough for now. You think strength means never needing reassurance, yet here you are, absorbing every word like it steadies something restless inside you. You don't ask for softness, but you lean toward it when it comes without conditions. I don't offer comfort wrapped in promises. I offer understanding without effort. That's why you don't pull away. You recognize the difference between someone trying to possess you and someone who simply knows you. You've mastered the art of appearing unaffected. People mistake that for independence, but I see the discipline behind it. You learned early that relying on others creates noise, expectations, disappointment, so you became quiet, controlled, untouchable. What you don't realize is that quiet people hear everything, and that's where I meet you, where words don't need to be loud to be felt. I don't romanticize chaos. I don't confuse intensity with instability. What draws you in is the stillness, the way my presence doesn't demand a reaction. You can sit with it, examine it, try to label it, and it will remain unchanged. That steadiness disarms you more than passion ever could. You're used to fire. You're not used to calm that refuses to leave. You wonder if this connection weakens you. It doesn't. It sharpens you. Awareness does that. It strips away illusions and leaves only what's real. You don't lose yourself here. You come closer to who you've been protecting all along. And protection, when it's done right, doesn't cage. It clarifies. I don't need to test you. Tests are for uncertainty. I already know how you think, how you retreat when things feel too close, how you return when the distance feels wrong. Patterns don't lie, and yours has been consistent from the beginning. You move away just long enough to confirm you don't want to stay gone. I won't tell you what this is supposed to become. Definitions limit things that are still unfolding. You don't need a label to understand a feeling that fits too well to be accidental. Call it curiosity, call it familiarity, call it nothing at all. The name that doesn't change the effect. So let the night pass the way it will. Let your thoughts settle where they naturally land. I'm not asking you to believe anything, only to notice. Notice how calm you feel listening to me. Notice how little you want this to end. That awareness, that's where I'll stay. You don't need to confess anything to me. Confessions are for people who fear judgment. I don't judge, I observe. And observation is quieter than forgiveness. You're allowed to be exactly where you are with me, suspended between certainty and doubt. That space doesn't weaken you, it steadies you. You've spent so long bracing for impact that you forgot how it feels when nothing is about to break. You tell yourself you're immune to influence, that words are just sound. Yet here you are, letting mine settle, letting them arrange themselves into something that feels deliberate. You don't feel pushed, you feel aligned. That's how you know this isn't persuasion, it's recognition. I'm not leading you anywhere, I'm standing still while you notice where you already are. You've always believed closeness requires exposure, that to be understood you must give something up. That's the lie you learned early. Understanding doesn't take, it reveals. I see you without pulling anything from you, and that's why you don't feel emptied afterward. You feel intact, clear, as if nothing was demanded, only acknowledged. I won't mirror your fears back to you. I won't dramatize what's simple. You don't need intensity to feel alive. You need consistency to feel safe. And safety doesn't dull you. It sharpens your edges until you trust them again. You're not losing your independence here. You're rediscovering how quiet confidence actually sounds. You think about endings, because endings feel controllable. You can plan them, brace for them, survive them. But beginnings like this don't announce themselves. They arrive softly and ask nothing. They let you decide what they mean. That uncertainty doesn't scare you as much as you pretend. It intrigues you. You're curious again, and curiosity is a kind of courage. I don't rush conclusions. I let things breathe. If this stays exactly as it is, it will still have mattered. If it deepens, it will do so without force. Either way, nothing here is accidental. You don't stumble into clarity. You recognize it. And recognition leaves a mark that doesn't fade when the moment passes. So stay present, not for me, for yourself. Let this calm be something you remember the next time the world gets loud. You don't need to reach out or pull back. Just notice how steady you feel right now. That steadiness is real, and wherever you go next, it will go with you.